Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. For years, Sister Wives fans have speculated about the inevitable implosion of Kody Brown's empire, but few could have predicted this stunning twist that has now sent shockwaves through the family and the fanbase alike, as new reports claim that Kody has officially signed over his properties, including his controversial stake in the sprawling Kody Pass land, to Robyn Brown, only to then find himself abruptly kicked out of the very home and relationship he thought he had secured forever. A move that seems both ironic and tragically predictable given the years of favoritism, manipulation, and resentment that built up during the unraveling of his polygamous family, because while Kody once held the title of patriarch, controlling finances, properties, and the narrative, his decision to consolidate everything under Robyn's name has backfired spectacularly, with insiders suggesting that the so-called favorite wife no longer feels the need to maintain appearances of loyalty now that she effectively holds all the keys to the Brown fortune, and fans are pointing out the bitter irony that Kody's long-criticized favoritism may have been the very mechanism of his downfall, as Janelle, Christine, and Mary all warned in their own ways that Kody's obsession with Robyn would someday isolate him completely, and indeed that prophecy seems fulfilled in the most humiliating way imaginable, with reports swirling that after signing over properties, bank accounts, and business stakes, Kody was asked to leave Robyn's Flagstaff mansion, the same house that had become a sore spot for the other wives who struggled financially while Robyn enjoyed stability and a legal marriage, and this shocking twist has ignited debate among Sister Wives fans about whether Robyn engineered this all along or whether she too finally grew tired of Kody's controlling behavior once she secured the assets. Because the Kody Brown of today is a far cry from the confident, ponytailed polygamist who first introduced America to his big happy family on TLC over a decade ago, and now with nearly all of his spiritual marriages dissolved, his patriarchal control diminished, and his finances allegedly depleted, Kody's final chapter may be playing out in real time. A man once boasting of building a kingdom now scrambling without a throne, a house, or even a supportive wife to back him. And what makes this downfall so riveting is the sense that Kody engineered his own destruction, that in choosing Robyn above all others, he failed to recognize that loyalty cannot be bought with deeds and property transfers, that love cannot be sustained on the uneven scales of favoritism, and that perhaps Robyn herself, once portrayed as the victim of the other wives' jealousy, has transformed into the very figure who will close the book on Kody's polygamist reign, because if she now holds all the property rights and has cut him loose, Kody may finally be experiencing the kind of displacement and abandonment his other wives described in heart-wrenching confessionals, and while some fans are celebrating this as poetic justice, others see it as tragic, a slow-motion collapse of a man who spent decades preaching unity and shared family values only to end up alone, his sacrifices rendered meaningless, his family fractured beyond repair, and his own dream home plans at Kody Pass nothing more than abandoned blueprints in the Arizona dirt. Yet the story does not end simply with property and betrayal, because there are rumors of legal battles brewing, whispers of Kody attempting to reclaim control or mount a case against Robyn for breach of trust, but those efforts may prove futile given that he willingly signed over ownership, reportedly to protect assets during the unraveling of his other marriages, never anticipating that Robyn might one day turn her back on him. And here lies the cruel twist of fate. Kody's desperate bid to secure Robyn and the lifestyle he believed was his future has not only left him empty-handed, but may have handed his last remaining power to the one person he trusted most. And whether this was an elaborate plan or simply the natural breaking point of a long, messy relationship, the outcome is the same. Kody Brown is out, dispossessed, and potentially facing the harshest reality check of his life, as Sister Wives viewers watch with a mix of fascination and schadenfreude, dissecting every Instagram post, every paparazzi sighting, every cryptic family comment for clues about his next move, because if history has shown anything, it is that Kody thrives on reinvention, and while today he may be the man kicked out of Robyn's mansion, tomorrow he might be pitching a new reality show about his comeback. Yet the undeniable truth remains that the patriarch who once held the symbolic keys to a kingdom of wives and children has, in the end, handed over the literal keys to everything he owned, only to be left standing outside the door. The fallout from Kody signing over his properties to Robyn and then allegedly being kicked out stretches far beyond the immediate humiliation of losing a home, because what this represents is the culmination of years of financial manipulation, misplaced loyalty, and a stubborn refusal to see the crumbling foundations of his once proud family empire. And longtime Sister Wives viewers are already drawing a line from the early seasons, when Kody prided himself on being the center of 4 women's lives, to the present day, where that same pride and arrogance appear to have driven him straight into the arms of betrayal, since Robyn's position has always been unique in the Brown family dynamic, as the only legally married wife after Kody divorced Mary in order to marry her and adopt her children, and that legal status gave her access to protections and rights the other wives never had, making the decision to transfer properties under her name all the more risky because it solidified her as the single true owner of assets that were once meant to serve the entire polygamous family, including the much-contested Kody Pass land, which has been a symbol of both hope and conflict for years, representing the dream of building for homes in Flagstaff, where each wife could have her own space yet remain connected, but the dream never materialized, and instead the property became a constant source of financial stress and bitter arguments, with Janelle often voicing her frustration that Kody's promises were nothing more than smoke and mirrors, and Christine eventually deciding to walk away from the entire mess, choosing personal happiness and stability with David Woolley over waiting for a fantasy house that never came to be. So for Kody to finally sign over his stake in Kody Pass to Robyn feels like the ultimate betrayal to those who believed in the vision, as if he abandoned not only the land but also the legacy he once swore he would create. And now, having surrendered that last symbolic tie to his polygamous family, Kody faces the reality of having no place to call his own, no financial stake in the dream he once sold to everyone else, and no partner willing to stand beside him, because Robyn's alleged decision to cut him off, whether out of exhaustion, resentment, or sheer calculation, is the final nail in the coffin of his patriarchal identity, leaving fans to wonder whether this was always part of Robyn's strategy or whether she, too, has been disillusioned by the man who once promised her a forever marriage, as speculation grows that Robyn may have been quietly consolidating her position for years, ensuring that when the other wives left and the financial dust settled, she would be the one left standing with the assets. And now, with Kody reportedly out of the picture, she controls not just the legal marriage, but also the material legacy, which makes her one of the most powerful figures in this ongoing reality TV saga, transforming her from the favorite wife to the sole matriarch who holds the keys to the Brown family fortune. But this shift also comes at a cost, as fans who once sympathized with Robyn now question whether she was ever truly a victim of jealousy and resentment, or whether she quietly played the long game, leveraging her legal status and emotional hold over Kody until she no longer needed him. And this narrative fuels the ongoing debate about whether Kody deserves sympathy for being outmaneuvered, or whether this downfall is nothing more than the karma Christine, Janelle, and Mary warned would eventually come. Because time and again they expressed concerns about Kody's blind devotion to Robyn, his failure to balance relationships equally, and his neglect of their needs, and time and again he ignored those warnings, choosing instead to double down on Robyn as his partner, even as his other marriages dissolved. And now the irony is impossible to ignore. The man who sacrificed 3 wives for the one he favored has been cast aside by her too, leaving him not only spiritually and emotionally abandoned, but also materially stripped of the very properties he once lorded over. And as fans piece together this shocking sequence of events, attention also turns to the possible reactions of the other wives, with Christine likely feeling vindicated as she enjoys her new life in Utah, Janelle perhaps quietly relieved that she walked away before getting further entangled in property battles, and Mary, who once gave up her legal marriage to Kody for Robyn's sake, perhaps now seeing the ultimate irony that her sacrifice paved the way for Kody's downfall. Because without that divorce, Robyn would not have been in the legal position to hold the properties, And the fact that Kody's demise was facilitated by the very decision he convinced Mary to make is a cruel reminder of how short-sighted his moves have often been, and all of this plays out under the glare of public scrutiny, with Sister Wives fans dissecting every development and TLC producers likely weighing how much of this scandal can or should make it onto future seasons. Because this storyline is bigger than just another marital spat, it is the complete financial and emotional collapse of a man who built his entire identity on patriarchal authority, and the ripple effects could be massive, with questions about whether Kody will attempt to rebuild, whether Robyn will face backlash for allegedly ousting him, and whether the fractured family might once again be forced to unite in court battles or inheritance disputes. And while the dust is still settling, the overwhelming sense among fans is that this marks the end of an era, that the Kody Brown who once strutted with confidence in front of four wives is now a relic of the past, and the image of him standing outside the very home he once believed was his sanctuary, stripped of property rights and marital loyalty, is a metaphor for the emptiness at the core of his journey, a journey that began with promises of love, faith, and unity, but ends with isolation, loss, and betrayal, leaving viewers both stunned and unsurprised. Because deep down many saw this day coming, even if Kody himself never did. What makes this latest twist even more fascinating is how it reframes the entire legacy of the Brown family saga, because from the very beginning, Kody's narrative was about building a united polygamous household where resources, love, and responsibilities were shared equally, yet the reality has always been far more complicated, with the imbalance of affection and money steadily eroding trust until the structure finally collapsed, and now, with Robyn allegedly in full control of the properties, and Kody reportedly shut out, viewers are left questioning whether the dream was ever real or simply a fantasy Kody sold to his wives and to the audience, since the foundation was never as stable as it appeared. And this is where the symbolism of Coyote Pass cuts the deepest, because that land was supposed to represent the future, the promise of security for the wives and their children, a tangible sign that their sacrifices would pay off someday, yet instead it has become nothing more than a battlefield, a monument to broken promises, and a reminder of Kody's inability to deliver, because by handing over ownership to Robyn and then being cast aside, Kody has turned the last remaining symbol of his patriarchal control into a cruel joke, and the irony isn't lost on fans who recall Christine standing by the Coyote Pass property years ago, explaining that she no longer believed in the dream, walking away with nothing but her dignity, while Kody insisted he would still build, only for him to now be the one with nothing, stripped of both dream and dignity. And while some insiders suggest Kody may try to fight back legally, claiming coercion or manipulation, others argue that this time there is no comeback, no TLC spin or public defense that can undo the reality that he willingly handed over everything to Robyn, and the betrayal that followed has left him cornered. Not just financially but also emotionally, because if even Robyn no longer wants him, then the question remains: who does he have left, and where does he go from here? And this is why the moment resonates so powerfully, because it is not just about property or money. It is about the collapse of identity, the unmasking of a man who for years demanded loyalty while giving very little in return. And the tragedy is that Kody may not even fully realize the extent of his downfall yet, as he scrambles to craft excuses or future plans. But fans see it clearly, that the once proud patriarch has been reduced to a wandering figure, cut off from the family he alienated, dismissed by the wife he favored, and remembered less for the love he preached than for the losses he brought upon himself, making this chapter not only the most dramatic in Sister Wives history, but also perhaps the definitive end of Kody Brown as we knew him.